it's intimidating, not intermediate. I'm actually going to go back with Blessing of the Elf. Orc just doesn't have the damage boost. It's like, it's 1 damage, essentially, unless it's like a really powerful spell, and that just doesn't end up being enough. Because, yes, there are other ones, but the problem is, a lot of these are situational, like Fairy Fighter, great for buff run. We're not doing a buff run. Sneaky Annoyance. This one is interesting. I guess the other one, let's go with Shade's Wrath. I haven't done that in a while. We need extra shots, and we need invincibility, and we need, let's go Prevnik. Minus 40% speed is very useful, especially against certain types of enemies. I'd hope it would be more substantial than that, but it's not. So at the very least, right now we're at particle spam, and if we do end up running into the Shrine of Destiny again, we do have the very convenient effect of, we're essentially just crapping particles on everything, and, well, it's convenient. Seriously, though, Shrine of Destiny with just... essentially, the problem we were running into is the powered shrines can't be broken by the teleporty spell that we had, but they can be blocked by it, which is extremely destructive, because after a certain point, I just couldn't hit the Shrine of Destiny anymore, and had to turn it off, because it was messing with the cooldown of Chaos Bolt. And so now we're just kind of relying on Chaos Bolt plus the extra shots, because I wanted to do Elf, but at the same time, there's the... I don't know, some amount of variety here is nice. Yeah? Yeah. So, also, Orc, again, I was kind of singing its praises, but at the same time, if it was like a 1-to-1, and you could actually get up to ×2 damage, sure, I could actually see that being a extremely viable spell. But as it stands, it ends up being a 25% damage boost, which is nice, but at the same time, I could see a lot of other things being better than that. Nope, that's a lot of bats. Well, let's just slow them down and focus fire them. Honestly, the bats are far more scary than the rats, because the bats careen, the rats corral. Because you can bring the rats around in circles. Probably didn't need to pick that up, but at the same time, I already have one, and chances are, especially since it's level 1, we're going to get a fair amount of stuff. So we're doing particle spam right now, and luckily the particles that we start with, they're fairly medium range. But ideally what I'd like to get is the ability, well, there's a trait that every time you shoot your stuff, that sounded unfortunate, every time you shoot a spell, you have a 10% chance of shooting an extra particle, as well as every time you kill an enemy, you have a chance of shooting a secret bullet. If I can get both of those, I'd very much like to have, you know, the particle run. Elemental Trident is definitely a consideration. I'm almost tempted to do double Elemental Trident. The problem is Elemental Trident doesn't exactly have AoE, but it does have very good area coverage and very good damage. Because currently that's one of my favorite spells. I'd say I like Fusion more, but the problem with Fusion is you need to stay generally local to an area, and that does end up being a problem, which is why I haven't tried it. I also, you know, used it a fair amount in the beginning. Mainly, I've already had a pure Fusion run, and it feels a little bit weird to me to do another one within, you know, the next 10 episodes, if that makes sense. You got a lot of rats. I'm just gonna curse the crap out of these guys and take on that speed mage. I'm trying to kill him, but he just was not dying. Oh well. I guess really I can just ring around everything and hope that my particle spam is enough to kill whatever. Okay. Those rats don't die. So you're getting a lot of speed runes, a lot of dark runes. I could totally go for, actually, I could have 2 of those teleporty spells. It's weirdly tempting. Of course, we still run into the issue that we ran into last time, where it's tempting purely because it does stupid amounts of damage, which is very, very, very tempting. I don't know. Because I like Chaos Bolt, but yeah, let's try it. I don't know. Double down. Why not? See what we can do with 2 Dark Callings. This could be a terrible idea. Could be a complete... Wait, I don't need an extra light rune there. Could be a terrible idea. Could be an exciting idea. I have no idea. And it's got a fairly short cooldown, so we should be firing these things off fairly rapidly. Well, let's wait the inevitable 4 seconds. At the very least, we do actually have our own particle spam going already. So I can just kind of ring around these guys and do a little bit of damage. Oh, let's turn it on and begin the salvo. So first and foremost, it does have some nice perks. Doesn't look... Uh-oh. Let me look at this for a second. It doesn't say anything about a global cooldown. I'm firing them both fairly quickly. So my concern is I can't actually fire Chaos Bolt. It's not letting me. What if I switch them out? And had it be a shoulder button. Uh-oh. Oh, there we go. Interesting. Okay. So I think this is probably going to be the best way. I don't fire Chaos Bolt that often, but I fire it fast enough. And this way we get a breaker, and maybe with a slower cast type spell, it'll work. I know, kind of depends. It just, interestingly enough, there's no global cooldown on the spell, which is interesting. There's no global cooldown on Dark Calling, which I find kind of interesting. Oh, jeez. Apparently you can teleport their corpses. That's a weird issue to have. At least you could actually use that for some interesting circumstances. Oh well, that's good enough for me. It's not what I was expecting, but it'll be fine. And we can pick up this health. I just need to be a little bit more careful. And honestly, I think I need something. I need Scarlet Salvo at this point. And unfortunately, I don't know when I'm going to get that. Might not be for a while. Well, let's go into the event room. See what we got. Dodging fireballs. This is exciting. That was pitiful. I was turning off my autocast and stuff. I probably should have done that first and foremost, but was not thinking about it. But I was like, yeah, you know, I'll turn off my autocast just to clear things out, take out the distractions. Unfortunately, we are a walking distraction purely based on the class we started with, and it's not the end of the world. It just does mean that we immediately get hit by fireballs, because not only was I trying to clear distractions, but I distracted myself to the point where I lost. Whoops. Okay, so we could do armor piercing, toughen. See, the thing is, toughen could be cool, but it's very situational. Like, I guess I get hit 10 times, but it only increases your armor by 10% for a couple seconds. So, armor piercing isn't bad either. Honestly, all of these are kind of worthless. I'm gonna go with this one, purely because it has the highest applicable use, especially if we got some long cooldown type spells. And could help us out. I don't know. It just seemed like the most likely thing, because it's toughen could be a lot better than it is. I'll just say that straight up. Okay. Well, let's see what else we got in here. Storage room. Hey, I like storage rooms. Let's actually turn off everything and just use Chaos Bolt to rip through it all. Looks like this is actually the very last room on the floor. So we can go down. Let's see if we do better than last time. I'm betting on no. So, staircase is over to the left. So, I have half a mind to actually switch the two Dark Callings over. I'm actually going to go with the Shock rune this time. I don't remember what the last rune is for Scarlet Salvo, so I should probably look that up. Fire, Shock, Scarlet Salvo, Air. I don't have any of those yet, do I? Nope, nope, that was the last run. So if I can get Scarlet Salvo, we'll be in a good position. Because Scarlet Salvo will let us... It'll give us a shield, it'll have a fair amount of... attacks, too. It essentially will cover the area in shots. And actually have half a mind. It'd require a lot of fire runes, which is kind of unfortunate. I actually have kind of this innate temptation to do a run that is... Scarlet Salvo, Elemental Trident, whatever the water light one is, because if I could get all four of those, it would essentially be all of the particles in front of us forever. Because I like Dark Calling, but it's single target, and it's not exactly the longest range. It's got some interesting applications, but it can actually screw me over a little bit. Yeah, let's switch them over. My index finger is actually getting a little bit tired, because the thing is... Oh, right, I'd actually... Uh-oh. Freaking Wind Hunters are problematic with Dark Calling. Yeah. No, I'm probably going to write off Dark Calling for a while. The problem is, it's one of the actual absolute worst spells against a melee type enemy. it's generally good. Like, it's got a lot of interesting applications, but it does run into some serious problems. Oh. Okay. Interesting. Yeah, I do actually have a fair amount of issue. Yeah, I can't use Chaos Bolt while I am using double Dark Calling. Weird. Just trying to get my particle spam to bust these up. I guess I can turn them on and off at will. So there's no reason why I can't just do that. I just need to make sure. Okay. Water mages. Oh, geez, I'm going the other direction. Going away, going away. Oh, boy. Yeah, kind of highlights my problems with Dark Calling. Because pulling enemies towards you, not exactly the best thing ever. I could actually have, hilariously, I could actually have a try Dark Calling build. But that seems dumb to me. Let's make Scarlet Salvo. Totally missed. Yeah, no, I could definitely have tried Dark Calling. That seems really odd to me. Well, let's just stretch our finger out a little bit while we wait for things to go. And now we've got the particle spam. Okay. Good, it's actually firing in the direction we want. So we get fire runes, and I'm trying to remember, yeah, fire runes are actually good in Scarlet Salvo, right? Yeah. So I'm going to try and save runes, but at the same time, I am going to try and buff. This is going to be generally high usage on fire runes, just because I do want to get living statues. Actually, this could work very well. Or be really problematic. I just need to be careful, because we're very high damage, but Dark Calling? Dark Calling does a fair amount, and it's fairly close to a single target. The only problem is our base class ability sucks a little bit because it hits the statues. I kind of wish you could turn it off somehow, but you can't. Oh well, we didn't take too much damage there. And I'm gonna go with max HP, because again, extra survivability is very important. The more health I can carry in with me, the better off we're gonna be. So it looks like I can use double Dark Calling with Flame Salvo thus far, so that's encouraging. I guess part of it is Flame Salvo does have... It has a half-second cast time, which is good. I don't know. We'll see. I'm concerned, because double Flame Salvo could either be a really good idea or a really bad idea. Really does depend on how close quarters we run into, like, how close quarters the endgame is. Because the thing is, Scarlet Salvo is... It's kind of like Spread Shot. It gets a little bit more focused as you get closer to the eventual target of it. But at the same time, I could see it working very well with Elemental Trident. The Explodey one, whatever that one's called, I forget the name of it. It's... that one's a little bit lower on my list just because it's a bit more situational and the damage isn't as high. So if I could actually have double Elemental Trident, that'd actually be really, really effective. I'm trying to keep away from the Wind Hunter, because he would mess up our jam pretty hard. So I think I'm actually, I should actually start saving my fire runes. High chance I might not actually get any more, come to think of it. But if I can save them, then at the very least I will be able to get double Flame Salvo. And we need water, fire. We need water, fire, something. It's like water, fire, light for Elemental Trident? No, water, fire, entropy. And unfortunately I don't have either of those, so it is really dependent on RNG. We need a lot of fire runes to pull that build off. And I guess part of it is, it's so tempting to me because Elemental Trident, problem with it is, it's slightly long cast time. Whereas Scarlet Salvo is, actually surprisingly long cast time for the actuality of the spell. Because the thing is, not each of those particles is not actually a like separate cast of the spell. It's actually, you fire 12 shots off or something like that. And that can be really convenient, because that means you don't have to worry about cooldowns as much. The problem is, anything directly in front of you actually pretty much can hit you without a whole lot of fear. So if I could actually have Scarlet Salvo, Elemental Trident, seems like a terribly stupid idea, but at the same time, the Scarlet Salvos would cover long range and behind us. And Curse of Prevnik, get out of my way. Beautiful. The Scarlet Salvos would cover anything behind and to the sides of us, and the Elemental Tridents would wreck everything in kind of an arc in front of us, and that would actually cover a very large amount of the screen, which is very tempting. Okay, so we got luck. No idea what luck does. I'm hoping it determines... I'm hoping it helps the amount of health drops. Not that floor 2 specifically needs it. I think we've got like a bazillion already lying around. But ideally, I'd very much like, or I'd very much hope that it covers health drops purely because it would very much make me happy if I could go into, you know, tier... Oh. You are not making away with that health pickup, even though I really didn't need it. I was mostly afraid that he had some kind of rune. I don't want him making it away with any level of runeage. I like my runes. So, as I was saying, that's my ideal goal here, but I'll see as it evolves. Because at this point, we're almost complete. Well, I guess our Runedex is a third of the way complete. We've got 107 left. But at the same time, there are probably only so many, like, single cast type abilities and non, like, weird situational type spells to find, and I will keep finding them for sure. But I'd rather go for a specific build and then incorporate what I find if I do find something cool. And really, as long as I can actually use every triple combiner I have, I don't have a whole lot of regrets on what combos I make. Get another fire rune. That's convenient. No shock runes, though. Because we could actually make a... Oh, hey. Speaking of new combos, I can actually make something. Let's do creatable and go down to the triples. So we can make Fusion, Pin, Wild Spirit, Hellfire, Enchantment. What does this one do? Oh, right. Makes enemies explode. Meditate. Armor and speed buff. This one's actually kind of a tempting thing to do at some point. Unfortunately, the duration is unchangeable, which kind of sucks. Lullaby was kind of fun, but it doesn't really work for what we're doing. Let's see. Whisking Winds, Pressure Blast. No. If Pressure Blast worked the way I wanted it to, it would be great. Fusion is tempting, but at the same time, I'd prefer to wait for a pure fusion build. And honestly, we could have actually built it that way this time around, but don't feel like it. Wind Aura, Dark Calling, Power Wall, Supernova, and Rage. Nope. Okay. So that's all the discovered ones. Let's see what we have that's undiscovered. Let's see. So we need... Oh, what do we got? Mind, Speed, Dark. That's not bad. Yeah, let's do it. Mind... Actually, no. I need to hold on to my speed runes for just a little while. Just in case we fight Blazia, because otherwise we're going to have some issues. So, in that case, we want to do... Dark Earth. Dark Earth, Mind. Why not? Dark Earth, Mind. Bam. What's it get us? Root. Makes the caster be unaffected by knockback and take reduced damage at the cost of not being able to move. Snares nearby enemies. Huh. That's a fascinating spell. It buffs your defense by 80%. So I'm actually going to put it there. I might not use it, but I want to see what it does. So let's wait for the cooldown to go. Let's actually turn off our autocast, because what I want to see is, looking over at the left, damage received. Wow. So what that does is makes you nearly invulnerable for a little while. So that could actually be... Oh, hello. It'd be a really nonsensical thing, and I think the only problem is you'd be subjected to debuffs. Debuffs, like a poison, could potentially hurt you. But the concept behind that I was thinking is, if you were human and you got 2 of the defense boosters, you could actually, and you had multiple, you know, root-type spells, you could root yourself to the ground and take no damage. It's an interesting question. I don't know how that'd turn out. So we need a water rune and an entropy rune. I'm gonna go with... I'm going to go with water just because we need more water runes than we need entropy runes right now. Because if I can get one elemental trident, that's probably better. Okay, right, we need to turn on this. So I need to make sure that I don't use my right bumper spell unless I absolutely have to. Because the concept I have behind it is, I don't know, it's got a lot of interesting ideas. One would be a teleportation type build. One where you teleport to where you attack. That has interesting applications. Because you could potentially just wail straight through enemies. Also, we already found the boss. It does worry me a little bit, but you know what? If it is Blazy, I'll just deal. Nimburus. Huh. Well, this is interesting. Okay, so what I'm going to do is quickly take a root off. We're going to be going around like this. So we're weirdly set up for fighting. Oh, geez, that green junk really messes with my frame rate when it happens. Okay, so we're actually pretty adept for Nimburus right now, purely because we've got such a high particle spam. If I had the entropy rune and elemental trident, I'd feel a lot better about things, purely because we would have such a coverage. But we don't, so I'm just going to accept it. But yeah, between Scarlet Salvo and the two teleporty type spells, we pretty much have infinite accuracy. We're still going to get bounced around a little bit, but it's definitely going to be a lot more encouraging than most general builds. I notice, oh right, of course, the reason why Scarlet Salvo doesn't reorient where it's shooting immediately is because, it's not actually based on, well, it's multiple shots before it's actually done casting. I need to remember that. So, we are running into some amount of trouble here. I guess Root could actually be really useful, especially later on, except for the fact that Nimburus himself moves, which kind of sucks. Also, there's a pair of red clouds. They're hanging out in the center. Nope, they have since moved. Also, that's an insane amount of little heart particles. I wonder why my frame rate was all the way down into the 20s earlier. It's all the way back to the 60s. I don't know. It's an indie game. It doesn't surprise me that much. So, I just need to make sure I don't get hit by too many pushmons. Luckily, Scarlet Salvo pretty much keeps them off of our back, purely based on the fact that we're surrounded in flaming particles at all times. It's convenient. I could see Prismatic Devil being really useful here. It's just kind of hard to get that one just based on RNG. So if I can get my hands on more entropy runes, more water runes, and the trait to give me more runes in general, that'd probably be really good. Got to avoid that a little bit because that hurts. It's about, I don't know, 7 damage per hit, give or take. Kind of hard to tell since there's no displayed numerical value for how much health we have. We're definitely doing fairly well against Nimburus, purely based on being nice and long range, which I very much appreciate. The fact that the two Dark Callings can just kind of aim in a direction and take everything out without me having to worry about aiming, that helps. So I guess point myself in a direction is the more apt version. I do have to worry about it here because he is doing the crazy lightning move, which is a concern. He's almost dead, so we got that going for us. Fortunately, there's a lot of red clouds around. I don't want to get hit by them. Come on, die. Beautiful. Didn't take too much either. So, unfortunately, you don't get a perk for beating the boss. You do get an extra spell slot, though. So we can do Precise Movements, Beast Tamer, Earthborn, Gravity Collapse. Gravity Collapse. And we get a triple combiner and some health. There's a lot of stuff on the ground. I think I can pick that up and not go up to full health. And I just need to remember that that is not actually health in the boss chamber. So we have undiscovered spells. What can I make? I don't need light. I don't need speed anymore. Light. Speed. Light, speed, mind. It's not bad. Light, speed, mind. What's it make? Holy Path. Fires a bolt of holiness that leaves a trail behind it. Trail increases movement speed of allies that step on it. Huh. It's got a shortish cooldown. It does a fair amount of damage. Why not? Let's see what it does. I say shortish with a fair amount of ish. Except for, I mean, it's one of those where it's like, I say short, and I mean like 0.1 second. Or, I mean, I say short-ish, and I really mean, let's turn these off. I'm still going to be farting out particles, but still, whatever. So let's fire it off. And at the very least, we can use this one to kind of dodge up and down. Oh, no, too late. It looks like it's gotten a really insane range, though. My main concern is, does it have strike-through or not? I guess we can check that with these boxes. The answer is no, it does not have strike-through, which is unfortunate, but not ultimately destructive. I don't know, it's not going to screw us over or anything like that. I was just hoping it would have strike-through, because that would make it a really solid spell. Oh well, not the end of the world, and can be used for a fair amount of things, like maneuvering around a room without a whole lot of issues. I mean, the way the speed boost works is convenient enough. So I'll keep it on the bar until it's replaced by something. I just really wish it had strike-through. I wish I had more spells with an insane amount of strike-through. Probably turn the map back on so I know where I'm going. So, I'm so glad I figured that out. I think, what was it, the first run or two, I couldn't, or didn't, and I was just like, where are all the rooms, where are we going? Oh, right, those holy paths are mine, so I can actually use them to a large amount of, those could actually be really useful for, hilariously, a fusion build. You strafe with it, and then use it to... essentially, you'd use the spell to line them up and knock them down. The only problem is, it just doesn't seem like it would be the most useful of... It seems like it would be too much setup for not that much use. I'd almost rather just do a float build. Or, like, focus on getting my hands on float, if at all possible. Or even sprint to a lesser degree. Unfortunately, this is a very close quarters room. We have kind of awful close quarters combat set up. Big boss would be pissed at us. Okay, there we go. Let's get the speed runes, get the other stuff. Alright, we're doing okay. I think there's at least one bit of health sitting around somewhere. Yep, there we go. Unfortunately, because we've got the cooldown reduction thing going on, it's always going to be a little bit on the deceptive side. Also, Flame Salvo kind of does mask it pretty hard. Come on, die. Okay. We definitely do need that entropy rune, though. Or second water rune. Because I have one more light rune, which I believe goes into... Yeah, it's light runes. We have the extra light rune, which... Okay, there we go. There's our answer to things. Because now we got Elemental Trident, which is going to give us the front coverage that we don't have. I'm taking damage here. Need to be more careful, really. Okay, first, let's make Elemental Trident, because we need that front coverage. And so I'm going to probably get rid of Holy Path. I like the idea of Holy Path, but at the same time, right now, not useful. Or at least not as useful as other spells will be. Okay. So, yep, looks like we have no problems casting Elemental No, we kind of do. Weird. It's like it casts sometimes, which is odd. Alright, so we get more fire runes. I'm probably not going to put them into... You know what? I'm going to try switching Holy Path out for Dark Calling. Because they might be able to cast concurrently with each other with no issues. I do feel like one of the... no, they're casting with a relative degree of success now. There's just some amount of issues, and I think it has to do with Dark Calling. Or having a pair of Dark Callings. I think having a pair of any spell is going to mess up your cooldowns. Uh-oh. We got a bandit over there. There we go. He's dead, and he's not making it away with our Cocoa Puffs. He's going to be a little bit pissed if he did. So, I think I'm going to keep the big old light path on the build, purely because it does actually make for some kind of nice movement boost, even though it's largely unintentional. It still has some nice applications. Getting a lot of speed runes here. I think this run really did want me to go, like, Pentafusion or something stupid like that. With all the speed runes we got, and all the fire runes we got, nope, don't want to pick that up. Still got at least one room left. But with all the speed and fire runes we've picked up this entire run, I really could have gone, like, you know, balls to the wall with fusion, which would have been really fun. But at the same time, I do kind of prefer, it's like variety is the spice of life. I also really should have gone elf if we're going to do that. So we've got a bandit over here doing something. Unfortunately, it's just such a... Uh-oh. There he is. Oh, that was a shock rune. Didn't want him making away with that. So I have half a mind to do double flame salvo, just because I think it would have some really interesting applications. But at the same time, it could also just be completely stupid. I don't know. It's interesting. I'm trying to think of... It's like... Chain lightning wouldn't be bad, but it doesn't have the long range element that we need. Oh, there's that wispy ball thing, which is not bad. It does fire kind of slowly, but it would actually work very well with our build right now. Farsight, Exterminator, Elemental Mastery. Gonna go with Farsight, I guess. Okay. Here's the question. What is that spell? It's Shock Light. Not Elastic Sparkle. Not that. Shock Array? No, not. Maybe it's not a shock spell. What's it called? Holy Path, Supernova Dark Call, Particle Spray, nope. Divergent Catalyst, nope. Expulsion, Shock Array. Harding's Radius, no. Carapace, no. Wild Spirit, Juke. It's not a light spell? Really? It's like star something. I swear that would go with the whole light rune thing. Is it shock then? Mad Lightning, Electrified Earth Ball, Red Lightning, Ball and Chain. Yeah, lightning spells I need to make more of. That's definitely sure. White Lightning isn't terrible, but again, it doesn't do a whole lot of damage. Traveler. Well, I guess we're going to have to take the... Oh, here. Let's go with Discovered. That'll make it a little bit faster. Some kind of star spell. Jeez. Kind of thing I should probably do off camera. Cosmic Star. There we go. It is a light spell. Light Entropy. Huh. Yeah, if I could get that, that would actually reduce the need for fire-ish spells. It would generally fit the build that we're running for here, because it's a fairly long-range group damage, high damage, longish cooldown type attack spell. And that would fit. Oh, right, and there's also Dark Wind, so I guess at this point we need a butt ton of water runes. I'm not getting a whole lot, which surprises me a little bit. We got a lot of shock. I could very well make a second Scarlet Salvo. Which I'm curious about, would double Scarlet Salvo be a wise decision? And I don't have a good answer for that one. I guess purely because it has such awful close quarters handling that it could completely ruin everything. Okay, let's turn off the autocast. Unfortunately, our inventory is full, and that's a problem. Okay, so at the very least, I'm going to buff up this one a little. Don't have enough. Let's see. Alright, I can left bumper to hit things. Let's grab the Mind Rune. Do we got anything over here? The answer is no. Let's never come back. And grab these just so we know that there aren't any health pickups in here. That's actually it for the floor. So we got that going for us, which is convenient, because we're going to be able to make it out of here. Oh, wait. Let's see if there's a health pickup somewhere over here. Might as well be... Where the crap is it? Oh. Well, that sucks. That was probably not even worth it. I hate the fact that those damage zones actually will magnetize health pickups to them. It's weird. And unfortunate. Because, I don't know, pain in the butt to dodge. So, let's go back, go through the door. We're full health. We're going down to the next floor. I could buff up our spells like crazy. But at the same time, I would like to come up with new and interesting combos. So, option A, waste a bunch, see how double Scarlet Salvo turns out. The answer is probably going to be really stupid. It is very tempting, though. Okay, so I could do movement speed, tempting. I could do HP max, very tempting. Extra survivability is always welcome. Or a water rune, which would maybe help. I mean, I'm going to go with the health. Because runes can be found, health can't. And yes, technically it'll just be health that I'll probably be looking to fill back up. But at the same time, it's kind of like running around with a health tank built in. Because the more health you have, the longer you're going to last, especially from full. So there is that. And now, unfortunately, this area is much darker than even the forest. But whatever, I make adjustments. So I'll see you guys in the next run, or not run, next episode of Runers, where we will, I don't know, maybe succeed, maybe not. Thus far, things have been going well for us, which is nice. We'll see.